important than the buildings themselves.
So,
Um, and but from a Frank Lloyd Wright point of view, the two have to really work in harmony with one another. The spaces in between the buildings need to work in harmony with the buildings themselves, and I think they really achieve that in the White City.
exactly, and the overall congruence of the design as well. I mean, it's almost designed with the trigger um, of 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 Houseman's Paris, and that all of the corner sides and all of the uh, proportions are to be quite strict, but also what was what was quite amazing about these spaces is what happens inside is all of these really incredible exhibits, from exotics around the world to new technologies. But what really made it thrive was an outdoor public space, the ability to gaze upon itself and truly look uh, truly look across it as a more naturalist landscape than here's a street. And it was quite interesting also that, so the typical fair or what have you, you can basically enter from all sides. That's the point. Draw people in forever, but both Burnham and Olmsted were quite adamant about, no, we should actually only have one, maybe two entrances, but the point of the design is that experiential nature and walking through it, and it just happens differently through a different sequence of spaces. And they were so adamant about people entering through the court of honor, so in all of the descriptions or critiques, it would explain, hey, this is the main entrance. And even Burnham, whenever smoozing others, because God, how much of his time was with delegates from other countries all over the globe, just to schmooze them. And let, let alone truly accomplish what they are trying to achieve.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why the World's Fair has dropped off the map.
It's sad.
Um, we talked a little bit about the Mises Barcelona Pavilion as being a part of the World's Fair in Barcelona, and that was a contribution that was clearly obviously ahead of its time, and this wonderful monument. I've been to a couple of times now, and it's just an amazing space, an amazing pavilion to experience. Um, and I don't know why the World's Fair has fallen out of favor with governments, but clearly the expenditure to do that, and certainly had an effect on that.
It seems as well as technology evolved and travel became more ubiquitous, and especially the transference of communication, and as that became a lot more rapid, you didn't have to hold an annual or a planned event to release these essentially press releases. I mean, the World's Fair is a gigantic press release, and it was quite something how both in time, if they have this event, and then all of the technologies to really back it up to make the exhibitions really as worthwhile as the buildings themselves were. Um, so something I've been thinking about a little recently, and it was spawned for sure from reading the Devil in the White City, that what's the true virtue of an exhibition and having these buildings go away, and does it add to the tour and having it end in a very poetic nature, or because I find it a lot more valuable if the building's still here.
Well, I think so. I mean, if you go to, Barcelona as an example, they still have a number of the warehouses, and they even have two towers that are, mimic images of the Campanile and Piazza San Marco,
Mm-hmm.
flank kind of the entry to it. I think some of those remnants, still remain with us and are still important. It is a shame that the White City was built as such a temporary thing that it couldn't remain with us for much longer. Um, but we do have other examples of it, even in New York, where if you even think of the Men in Black movie,
Mm.
the spherical objects that are just outside of the Met Stadium.
Yeah.
They had a World's Fair exhibition there in the early 1920s or 1930s that were again suggesting of the technological advances of art and architecture at that point. And those are artifacts and remnants that still remain with us. So we do have some examples of those things um, that we can still refer to, but it's a shame that the beauty of the White City is really just captured in photographs and renderings now.
Yeah. Uh, it seems also that if they knew that the Parisians were going to keep the Eiffel Tower, I think they would have tried to take him more of a long-term solution